Before we get into today's topic, I have a very short special message for my subscribers. Today is not only a celebration of the 4th of July, but also for reaching 300 subscribers. Thank you so much. This is a modest beginning, and I would like to reach 1,000 subscribers within a year. If you're getting value from these videos, please subscribe, as it helps me reach more aspiring, new, and accidental project managers, as well as others wanting to improve their skills. If there are any topics you would like me to cover in the future, or improvements you would like to see to my videos, please drop me a comment below. Thank you again, and now let's get into today's topic. Project management fundamentals are easy to understand, but mastery takes years of practice. Even the most seasoned project managers can fall into bad habits, leading to poor outcomes. Sometimes mistakes are subtle, such as overreacting to minor changes or communicating in ways that fail to engage stakeholders. At other times, the errors are more obvious, such as insufficient planning or failing to recognize the importance of stakeholders. What makes project management tricky is that success isn't measured only in terms of deadlines and budgets. A project that looks sufficient on paper may alienate stakeholders, exhaust the team, or deliver results that don't align with organizational goals. To avoid these pitfalls, it's helpful to recognize the most common mistakes project managers make and deliver strategies to prevent them. One of the first lessons new project managers learn is to closely monitor budgets and schedules. Unfortunately, this vigilance can sometimes turn into overreaction. A few weeks of slight variance is rarely enough to make or break a project. For example, a task that takes a few days longer than planned may be a simple matter of one team member juggling priorities or a temporary resource constraint. Overreacting in response to that slight variance may create more disruption than the delay itself. The best approach is to look for trends rather than isolated incidents. If a pattern or delay or overruns begins to emerge, or if there is a sudden spike, it might be time to act. It is also important to remember that being under budget or ahead of schedule is not automatically a positive outcome. Delivering too quickly may signal poor quality, an incomplete scope, inadequate resource planning, or expose a need to pay for warehousing of early completed work, all of which can have negative consequences. Planning is often seen as a tedious step to be minimized in the rush to execution. For the most effective project managers, though, they spend more time planning than their less effective counterparts. Thorough planning sets a solid foundation for execution, and when planning is rushed, teams often find themselves scrambling to clarify details mid-project, which creates confusion and rework. At the same time, projects rarely have the luxury of endless planning. Project sponsors want to see progress to justify investment. A practical balance is to allow some work to begin in parallel with planning, particularly lower priority or preparatory tasks, while keeping the remaining work paused until the planning foundation is secure. This hybrid approach satisfies stakeholders' desire for progress while maintaining some project discipline. Few things derail projects more quickly than unhappy stakeholders who feel excluded or overlooked. Project managers sometimes under-identify stakeholders, focusing only on the obvious sponsors and end users. Later, when a previously ignored group raises objections, project can grind to a halt. A safer approach is to err on the side of over-inclusion. It is far easier to remove someone from a distribution list than to rebuild trust with a critical stakeholder who is left out. When meeting with stakeholders, project managers can ask simple questions such as, who else should I speak to about this project? Or have I overlooked any important stakeholders? These questions help surface hidden influencers and reduce the chance of missing voices that matter. Risk management is one of the most underappreciated aspects of project management. Many project managers treat it as a paperwork exercise, identifying only the most obvious risks. But the consequences of missing key risks can be severe. It is better to over-identify risks than miss important ones. Prioritization will help you maintain focus on the most critical risks. This includes not only potential threats, but also opportunities that could improve outcomes. Asking questions such as, what are the consequences if this project fails? And are there opportunities to improve project outcomes? Helps broaden thinking beyond the obvious. Robust risk identification, followed by realistic planning for mitigation or exploitation, is an investment that pays off many times over. Templates are helpful, but they rarely fit every project's needs. Project managers should treat templates as a starting point to be adapted through customization. By thoroughly assessing stakeholder and project needs, customizing templates, and requesting feedback before use, project managers can ensure that the result meets all project and stakeholder needs. Another recurring mistake is misaligned communication. Some project managers err on the side of over communication, sending lengthy updates full of details that executives do not read or need. Others swing to the opposite extreme, withholding information until problems become critical. Both approaches create frustration and risk. The key is to tailor communications to the audience. Executives typically want concise, outcome-oriented updates. Team members, on the other hand, require more detailed information to guide their day-to-day work. Stakeholders outside the immediate project may only need occasional summaries. By taking the time to understand what each audience values, project managers can communicate effectively without wasting anyone's time. People deliver projects, making team morale a critical factor that can determine success or failure. A project that looks healthy on a dashboard may conceal a team that is disengaging or quietly resisting the work. If unaddressed, these human issues manifest as missed deadlines, quality issues, or team turnover. Strong project managers make morale a regular part of their check-ins. In addition to status, they also inquire about workload, stress levels, and recognition, and take action based on these factors to improve team productivity. Project management frameworks, whether predictive, agile, or hybrid, provide structure and consistency, ensuring a clear direction and a predictable outcome. But there is a danger in treating them as rigid rule books. Some project managers become so focused on following processes that they lose sight of the ultimate goal, which is to deliver value to the organization. The best project managers use methodology as a guide, not as a straitjacket. They adapt processes to meet the project's needs, the organization's culture, and the stakeholders' expectations. When in doubt, there is a simple test. Does this action move us closer to delivering the intended value? If not, you may want to rethink the approach. Scope creep is one of the most common project killers. What begins as a small addition, one line of code, one little small feature, a minor report, or expanding a training session, this can quickly snowball into significant deviations from the original plan. If left unmanaged, scope creep erodes budgets, stretches schedules, and dilutes quality. Preventing scope creep requires clear boundaries and a disciplined change control process. Every proposed addition should be evaluated for its impact on cost, schedule, and value. Stakeholders need to understand that accepting a change often means adjusting expectations somewhere else. Project managers also play a coaching role, helping stakeholders see that just one more thing frequently carries more weight than they realize. Finally, one of the most damaging mistakes is failing to learn from past projects and mistakes. Too often, teams overlook or skip retrospectives. Without structured reflection of some kind, the same mistakes repeat themselves across projects, wasting resources and frustrating stakeholders. Capturing lessons learned should be a regular practice. The insights must be made accessible and applied to future projects. By applying lessons learned, organizations can avoid repeating mistakes and build a culture of continuous improvement. Project management is as much about avoiding pitfalls as it is about executing tasks. From reacting too quickly to variance, to underestimating risks, overlooking the human side of projects, the mistakes outlined here are common, but not inevitable. Each has a corresponding better practice that, when applied consistently, strengthens the likelihood of success. The best project managers recognize that mistakes will happen. They're part of the complexity of working with people, processes, and risks. What distinguishes them is their ability to anticipate common errors, respond to issues as they arise, and continually refine their approach. By learning from experience and lessons learned, project managers can avoid pitfalls, build trust, and continuously lead their teams to success. Thanks for watching, everyone. And again, thank you for helping us reach 300 subscribers. If you're getting value from this content, please remember to like, share, and consider subscribing. And I'll see you soon with another tip. Take care.